There's something to be said for nostalgia, right? We might get sentimental this episode. CJ, we're gonna take to Emotion Town, I think.
Emotion Town?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Straight A train to Heartfelt Central. I don't know, that was terrible.
Town?
What I'm trying to say, there are some dishes that just make you feel good, inside and out. That's today. I'm gonna show you how to make a roasted cream tomato soup with a caramelized onion grilled cheese. So delicious. Today, this may seem like a lot of ingredients. I'm definitely starting with tomatoes, and I do have some different tomatoes. Yeah, I don't want today to be a recipe. I want to talk, so Norman Van Aken, if you haven't seen his show, go check it out. It's on Amazon Prime. You can also see some of his episodes here on the Blackstone channel, and definitely follow him on all of his social channels. We talk a lot about Julia Child. He was good friends with her, and the idea not of what we cook, but why we cook. I remember being little and cooking with my mom. When I was 6, she would make me tomato soup. To be totally fair, Mom, if you're watching, I love you. She didn't make it like this. It was pretty much Campbell's soup.
It was a can of Campbell's soup.
Yeah, it was a can of soup. And the grilled cheese was probably Wonder Bread and some Kraft singles. We're not doing that today. However, the why is the same. The idea of putting a ton of different ingredients into a pan and roasting them all together, what happens is they become greater than they were on their own. The sum is greater than its parts. Is that the phrase, Andy? Yep. Something like that. The idea of putting everything together, roasting it so they marry, they become this new thing, this new entirely broad and wonderful flavor profile. That's what tomato soup is to me. So the idea of roasting all of these things together to make them into something new, it's what I remember being 8, 9, 10 years old, watching Julia Child, reading Norman Van Aken's books, watching Emeril Lagasse and Sarah Moulton, like all these early heroes of mine. The way they would cook wasn't as important as why they were cooking. They were cooking to feed people. That's what today's video is mostly about. Why do we cook the things that we cook? Not necessarily what. However, this is great, and you guys can kind of see everything that we've done. Not difficult stuff here. Now, I've got my pizza oven set to low. This is gonna go for like 15 minutes. About 15 minutes or so. We're not making pizza, right? So we don't want 500-600 degrees. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a nice ambient temperature to give all the vegetables time to release their sugars, caramelize just a little bit, and start to break down to make our soup really, really delicious. Something I like to do, you don't have to if you don't want to. I really like that toasty caramelized goodness of the vegetables. So halfway through, I like to pull it out and give it a stir. Don't go overboard in the stir. You'll notice some of the liquid from the tomatoes has come out. That's beautiful. It's all gonna go in the blender in just a minute, so don't worry about it, but do give it a nice stir and pop it back in. So I would say about 15 minutes total on low to medium low heat in your pizza oven. I mentioned caramelized onions for my grilled cheese, and I definitely want to get that going sooner rather than later. I'm using yellow onion because it caramelizes so much nicer. It has a really great sugar content. Don't overthink it. A touch of oil on your griddle, very thinly sliced onion, and some salt and pepper, and let that cruise. Go slow. Like, we can take our time. Our vegetables are roasting. Let's let our onions take their time to really develop that rich golden color and that wonderful sweetness. After about 15 minutes, when our vegetables are done, let's go ahead and pull them out, and you can see they're just steamy, glorious goodness. We're gonna go right into a food processor. Now, if you have a bigger one, I need to get a bigger food processor, CJ. Mine is enough for like 2 servings maybe here, but go ahead and load it up. Put an equal amount of everything. I'm also gonna add a bit of chicken stock and cream. Let's go ahead and add some of our herbs to this as well. We can add some basil and some parsley. They're gonna chop up, so don't worry about chopping these up ahead of time. Then pop the lid and we're gonna blend it. We want it to be smooth. I mean, it's not like perfectly puree. I mean, it's not gonna be like Mama used to make in the Campbell soup can, but we don't want it chunky. So blend it for a decent amount of time until it's nice and smooth and creamy. This is the texture that I'm looking for. Let's leave that off to the side while we build our grilled cheese. Once the onions are done, slide those off to the cooler side, and I've got some gorgeous bread. Use whatever bread that you like. This seeded bread would just look fantastic to me when I was at the bakery this morning. A couple of thick slices. Usually, like a grilled cheese is a bit thinner. I want thick because I want something to soak up all that beautiful soup. I like to toast that in a bit of butter, and maybe this is just me. I am a fan of texture. I like to toast both sides. So once the first side is toasted, then we flip and we build on the toasted side. I'm gonna start with a bit of provolone cheese. Use any cheese you like. It's totally versatile here, do what you want, but definitely put the onions in the middle between your second cheese. I'm using a smoked Gouda for this second layer. And don't be shy. It's a good grilled cheese. Like, say it's cold outside, you wanna feel nourished, you wanna rejuvenate your soul. What else can I say, CJ? I said I was gonna get sentimental.
Christmas.
You can go Christmas. Thank you. Keep an eye on it, go low and slow, let that cheese melt. Now plating here is very simple. There's a few little tricks we can do to elevate our presentation. I'm gonna go back to that heavy cream, and if you cover the lid just a little bit, only a small amount comes out. Let's do some beautiful little swirls around our soup. I've also got some balsamic glaze. This is gonna give us color and some sweetness. The contrast is nice, but the sweetness is gonna contrast on the flavor side, which is great. To compound that tomato flavor, let's add a few little bits of julienne sun-dried tomatoes right to the center. A couple of fresh basil leaves go a long way, not just for flavor, but for color. We're complementing the basil that's already in the mix. We can also do some pepitas. Pepitas are the inside part of the pumpkin seed, toasted, crispy, delicious. So it's gonna give us some textural contrast and then a touch of lemon zest, just to brighten everything up and round everything out. Now the sandwich is looking flawless. Let's bring that over and give it a slice. So what we've created, while it is nostalgic, why we did it and how, not necessarily how we did it, but a grilled cheese and tomato soup, it just makes you feel good. It makes you excited to be a cook. It makes you excited to want to eat. And I'm just too excited. I've got to take a bite now. To dip or not to dip, I suppose is the question. I mean, this grilled cheese is pretty magical as it is. We got to dip.
Yeah,
we
it's always dip.
You got to dip. Here we go. Don't want to mess up that beauty, but kind of got, oh, Andy.
Dude.
Andy. You excited for this?
Oh yeah.
I'm excited for this. It just makes me feel good. I feel like I'm 8. Again, sorry, Mama. I know you didn't make it quite like this, but this is really, really good. I'm gonna get just into the soup too. Now if you can see the texture, that consistency we're looking for. It's still smooth, but it's not like, you know, not Campbell's soup smooth. No words, buddy. I got no words. CJ, you wanna try this?
Absolutely.
CJ might have words. I do have some words. Nostalgia. Recreate those childhood favorites. I don't know that you're the best judge, but I'd like to know what you think.
Dang.
That was kind of mean.
I've had better.
Set
It was awesome.
Set myself up for that one. Set myself up. Thank you guys for hanging out. This is a fun one. Take some of those old classics, those old staples, those old nostalgic dishes that you had when you were a kid. Remake them now that we have some new skills. Try this one at home and let me know, tag us if you make it. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. I want to hear your nostalgic dishes too. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you all for hanging out. This is Cook, Eat, Repeat, where we like to help you become a better cook one recipe at a time. I'm your host, Chef Nathan Lippy, and I'll see you all in the next episode.